I've decided to start a video diary of where my head is at because I'm not functioning particularly effectively, and being creative really helps when I'm not on my absolute lowest. Writing helps, but that can be quite a lot of effort sometimes, so I thought I would try and voice some of my thoughts. I've been wanting to start up a YouTube channel for a bit and sort of not really knowing what angle to approach it from, but I've been thinking a lot, and it could be helpful, hopefully, to other people for me to share my experience of depression and mental illness in a kind of vlog style, and for me as well to track objectively how my mood fluctuates. So I've been off work for a couple of days, which I'm feeling really guilty about, taking sick days even though I know I'm ill. And if it was anyone else in the same situation, I would treat them differently to the way I treat myself, and I know that. I find it really hard to sleep. But when I'm awake, I'm really tired all the time, and my brain tries to rationalize that by attempting to rest, but all that does is exhaust my mind more, which I'm only understanding recently, really. I look like the guy in Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Yeah, if you haven't seen that, you'll have no idea why. Editing takes a lot of patience and effort, and I feel that maybe occasionally I'll be able to do that in detail, but at the moment I'm just trying to be my rawest self, and if I edit all of that out, it kind of takes away what the aim is of this channel. I really admire all those that have already talked about their experience of mental health on YouTube and other platforms, and I do it anonymously in a blog, but it's different having my face put next to my words. When I relapse into a depressive episode, I'm not very good at recognizing the signs. It sort of just hits really suddenly, and I must sink into it a bit. I just choose to ignore that, not consciously. I've just sort of become so used to the patterns that it's very hard for me to take a step back. I usually have a very logical way of approaching things, which makes it really hard to get myself out of the rumination patterns, because I try to think my way out, but the logical side of my brain is telling me that it's right, or the negative thoughts. I'm working out why. And you can't think your way out of the problem, you only think yourself further into it. One of the things I love about life is paying attention to detail and analysing things. And that's good for things outside of my brain, but it's really, really unhelpful when it comes to thinking about the thing that's doing the thinking. I haven't been able to eat meals the last few days, because when I get low, I don't feel like fueling my body. And I know it's unhealthy, but it doesn't change how I feel in those times. It's really hard to explain without waffling. And I know there are times that I do feel good and things do seem like they're going to get better. but right now I'm in a really bad place. Not the worst I've been. I'm just alone in my flat, unable to go to work, which was one of my main fears of going into full-time employment. It's just another added stress. I really wish that growing up, someone had recognised and validated my mental illness. Not because I want to have it, not at all that, but because being the only experience I had growing up, I just assumed I felt what everybody else was feeling. And I was quite an underconfident individual, and I found it very difficult to speak up. So even when I'd think things in my head, even if they were really minor things, I wouldn't be able to translate that into my dialogue. And it sort of just go round and round. And then I just internalize it. I really wish that growing up, someone had recognised and validated my mental illness. Not because I want to have it, not at all that, but because being the only experience I had growing up, I just assumed I felt what everybody else was feeling. And I was quite an underconfident individual, and I found it very difficult to speak up. So even when I'd think things in my head, even if they were really minor things, I wouldn't be able to translate that into my dialogue. And it sort of just go round and round. And then I just internalize it. So by speaking out, which I never in a million years thought I would ever want to do, I just hope that even if I can reach one other young person out there, that this can help. Because as a teenager, my parents were very negative about my negative behaviour. I'm the oldest in my family, so everything was new, and anything that was wrong, my mum would put down to me just being a teenager. But actually, some of the signs of depression do overlap with puberty, which means that for people not educated on mental illness, they can't recognise it. And I really do think that in school that we should be taught how to recognise the signs of mental illness. Just like you have physical first aid in the workplace or at school, you should have a qualified mental health first aider.